What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Monday. Hope everybody is doing okay, right? I know nobody's doing great right now, but I hope everybody's doing all right.
Everything is fine.
Yes,
Everything is fine.
Yes, the sun is up. It's kind of gloomy outside. Yesterday was kind of nice when it comes to weather, but I don't think it helped anybody's mood as the Titans are at home. Instead of preparing for the first AFC Championship game in Nashville's history, the Titans are doing locker room cleanout day on this Monday, which makes things feel even worse. Austin Stanley, Zach Bingham. Zach Bingham is on the road in Dallas this week. But we have a massive show to get to with a lot of very important conversations that we're going to have not just today, but throughout this week and over the next several months with what the Titans have to do to get to where they need to go. Ryan Field says he's looking for a Zach rant on Tannehill because Zach went on a Twitter TED Talk this morning about the Titans quarterback situation. Alex says he thinks he recovered. I highly doubt it because we're just going to reopen the wound this morning. So we are going to have a great show. I know the conversation will be fantastic today. I'm going to break down the biggest plays and who to blame on how the Titans lost that game. And I've got screenshots and I got all 22 videos, Zach, of Ryan Tannehill's interceptions. And Keith says Tannehill is trash with a bunch of H's. Look, we're going to get to who to blame and where to properly place the blame here. But we're going to have a great show here on this Monday. So we'll go through that breakdown. We'll also talk about, do you believe Ryan Tannehill can take the Titans to where they need to go? And the other three games this weekend were bonkers. I mean, all of them. Down to the wire, game-winning field goals, overtime, insane offense last night in that Bills-Chiefs game. So we're here to talk about it all, and then we're going to get to bad sales job on this Monday like we always do. Zach, welcome in. Hope your Sunday travel was smooth.
Yeah, I got from A to B on a Sunday. I was streaming those games yesterday on my phone because the Airbnb I'm staying at doesn't have TV because they don't do that anymore. And so I was efficient watching the game, but it was a trying time as I was traveling. But glad to be here on a Monday morning. I did not want to miss this show. I've got a long week in Dallas, but I did not want to miss this Monday morning show based on what the Titans did on Saturday or what they didn't do on Saturday. We're gonna have a great show today. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We'll be tweeting out the YouTube link out on our Twitter at A to Z Sports. But we welcome everybody in here. If you're on YouTube piling in, please subscribe to our channel and ring that bell. Make sure your live notifications or alerts are on. Well, we appreciate that. And then also on Facebook. What's going on, Facebookers? More people pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes as you guys do. Bottom left corner of your screen. Share now to public. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing. Here on a unfortunate Titans Monday loss and a long offseason, but a lot to talk about. So let's get this party started.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. And we got to thank our sponsors because they make everything happen for us, and they help out you guys. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the area at renterswarehouse.com. Wilson County Hyundai, check them out for your brand new car buying process. Go check them out in Lebanon or at their website, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, and Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. They have better coverage, better rates, better service. Learn more about a plan for you at fbhp.com/ATOZ, fbhp.com/ATOZ. So that weekend was insane. Unfortunately, the Titans were the first game in the weekend, and as dramatic as it was, it came out on the wrong end for the Titans, and I think everybody is still just down in the dumps and angry on this. Anger is the stage of grief that I have remained at over the last 36 hours since the game ended. I had dinner with some friends, went out with some friends Saturday night, and then I had a birthday brunch yesterday, and I was just spitting takes. I could not refrain from talking about this game with people who didn't care about this game over the weekend. It feels devastating. And we talked about the one word in the postgame show, Zach. I said heartbreaking. Devastating is also another word to use, but it's been a long day and a half since Saturday night.
Yeah, I think I'm in disbelief. That's the way that I describe it. And disbelief over a lot of things this weekend. The Bucks letting Matthew Stafford throw to Cooper Kupp twice in the last however many seconds. I mean, all the games are good, and we'll talk about those later in the show. But I think I'm in disbelief of a couple of things. How, first and foremost, which we'll talk about, this is the heart of the show, how bad Ryan Tannehill was. I was also in disbelief. I believed I wasn't completely surprised that Derrick Henry was not 100%. We kind of saw that, but that's a tough and tall task even for a king like himself. But I also saw A.J. Brown be a badass. I also believed a little disbelief on how good the Titans defense played. That front four, man, this is something, and this is where the sadness comes in and anger and all that stuff. When they were in the AFC Championship game a couple of years ago, no way in hell they could get that amount of pressure on anybody.
No,
anybody.
They had 19 sacks in 16 games last season. They had 9 alone Saturday night, a playoff record for sacks in a game.
And some of that is the Bengals offensive line, but I think the majority of it is the Titans defensive line.
They also had 2 sacks that didn't happen because there was a timeout and a false start. Like, just think about that.
Yeah, you're right.
They truly sacked Joe Burrow 11 times. 9 of them actually counted, and you wasted away that defensive performance.
And then the last thing I say, which I think will probably lead into what you wanted to talk about on this morning's show, Austin, is some of the bad play calls that were made on the offensive side of the football. And bad play calls in critical situations. Look, and you'll say it a lot, Austin. You've been saying it. Everybody knows it. Todd Downing needs to be fired. We know that. Like that, there is death, taxes, and Todd Downing needs to be fired. We know that. But looking at that game, man, there were some really bad play calls that he put Tannehill in some bad spots. Now, Tannehill played disastrous, so there's blame all over the place. But those are kind of my initial thoughts as the dust kind of settles. But here is the last thing, Austin. Mike Vrabel said something that got me back sane, right? When you, and this is a good saying from a head coach. And Mike Vrabel knows this very, very well because he's been at the top of the mountain and then he's been bounced in the playoffs. There's only one team that is truly happy at the end of the year, and it's really, really hard. We saw this weekend, right? Green Bay losing, Tampa losing, the Bills last night in the fashion they did, and also the Titans. There's only one true happy team, but when you have an opportunity like the Tennessee Titans had this postseason, being the number 1 seed, home field advantage throughout, getting their running back, getting healthy, you just it kills you inside.
It does.
And Jabu is like a lot of Titans fans that I reached out to me on Twitter saying, because I was tweeting during that KC Bills game. I was going back because I was watching on my phone, like tweet, small screen TV. And a lot of people were like, I can't even watch this game. I haven't even watched football on Sunday because Titans fans were so upset of what happened.
Yeah, and Scott Weaver brings up 3 times the number 1 seed and then blew them all to the AFC North division there too. But about the Todd Downing thing is I remember this, Zach. I texted you after it was Sunday night after the Titans got blown out by the Cardinals in week 1. I texted you. I said, I have a Todd Downing, Mike Vrabel take, an opinion, but it's too early to use it yet. And I had a gut feeling from week 1 that Todd Downing was going to be a problem this season, and I wanted to give him an opportunity to get out of that, but he couldn't do it. He was bad all season long. His opening script constantly sucked. I've been over the opening drive lack of success so many times this season. The Titans were 19th in first quarter scoring in the NFL this year, with just averaging over a field goal in the first quarter a game. And so they've got to be better than that. The fact that they won 12 games in the regular season due to the roster injuries and Todd Downing's terrible starts offensively, I think says something too.
Well, and to that, Austin, I think that the offensive injuries gave us pause on Todd Downing. I think
Not
we
me.
all had that feeling. No, well, you come out and say fire him mid-season. It gave you a little bit of pause to not say fire his ass week 10. That's what I'm talking about. So
Okay.
yes, everybody, and those injuries, which it makes a lot of sense. That's logical. Like if you don't have your running back, AJ Brown was out, Julio Jones was out, you had no one to throw to. It kind of was like, man, I feel Todd Downing's really bad, but maybe he just doesn't have his guys. And then, unfortunately, he has his guys in the playoffs. Big fat L.
Yeah,
to
big
a
fat
team,
L indeed.
to a team, everybody in the chat, you and I both know the Titans were a better football team than that Cincinnati Bengals team.
Oh, you had no business losing to that Bengals team. Okay, so I apologize for what I'm about to do. I'm about to make everybody even more angry, but it's the right thing to do. I'm going to go through the 3 interceptions that Ryan Tannehill had on Saturday night in that playoff loss to the Bengals, and we're going to break them down and place blame. But real quick, let me tell you guys about Renters Warehouse Nashville and renterswarehouse.com. They are the professional landlords in the Nashville area. Simply head to renterswarehouse.com to find out how much your home can rent for. There's a bunch of different ways you can use Renters Warehouse to your benefit. Create extra cash flow for you and your family. Long-term equity by owning your property and renting it out helps you equal long-term wealth, and get retirement plan ready. And Renters Warehouse does all the work for you. You're not the landlord. You're the owner. They're the landlords. You just get the money. They do everything else. It's great. Renterswarehouse.com is where to go.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM each and every morning. Users, risk-free bet. I need to get back on the saddle. I lost $300 on BetMGM. Well, I actually lost $346.50 on BetMGM because of the Tennessee Titans. But I still did have a little bit of money in the bank from Brandon Ayuk unders and some other NBA stuff. But, man, that was hit hard. But it does not prevent me from going back to the well and getting back up, baby. If you have not downloaded the app, download it today and use the promo code ATOZ Sports.
All right, yeah. Luckily, I lost my big bet, but I got free bet, and then I won with my free bet yesterday. So I kind of made a little bit of it back. But anyway, let's break down these interceptions from Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to go through them chronologically, okay? So the first interception, first play of the game, Ryan Tannehill. This is Ryan Tannehill's fault, and it's Todd Downing's fault. So why it's Ryan Tannehill's fault, here's the screenshot from NFL Game Pass and the All-22. Ryan Tannehill was so late trying to throw to Julio Jones. So late. Julio Jones obviously right there on top of the 40-yard marker, and Ryan Tannehill incredibly late and to get him there. And Jesse Bates, the safety on the hashes, was able to go jump that route. Now, here is why it's also Todd Downing's fault. And this was pointed out.
Was a bad play call to start?
No, not it wasn't the decision to do a play action pass on the first play that was a bad thing. It's the route concept. It's the route concept of what Todd Downing has in his philosophy. Because Julio Jones was wide the hell open. Tannehill was late. But the reason why Jesse Bates was able to get there is because, and Matt Bowen, who works for NFL Matchup on ESPN, former NFL safety, made this point. There was nothing holding Jesse Bates in the center of the field. I'll show it again. Look at the bottom of the screen. Look at Derrick Henry on the hash, the Izzo, the 83 tight end, and Jeff Swain. What the hell are those three guys doing? They are just jumbled together, doing nothing to take any attention from Jesse Bates' safety away from Julio Jones. There has to be a route on the back half of the play, on the back side, to hold Jesse Bates' eyes for at least another half count. And if the route concept is correct and balanced, then maybe Jesse Bates doesn't get there even with Ryan Tannehill being late to the throw. That the decision to throw that by Tannehill was bad because it was late, and the play concept was trashed by Todd Downing.
I mean, that was well put, right? If you have a fly route or a deep out on the other side of the field, that holds them, because as you saw at the top of that screen, they're doubling AJ Brown, which they should, right? I mean, that is the first play of the game. Here's the problem. Tannehill is the problem. Right there, that is Tannehill's fault. It's the first play of the game, bro. You should be juiced up to get to your spot. You've had 2 weeks to think about that throw and that play. You had 24 hours and hopefully a little bit of a sleepless night because you were so geeked up, and you're late. You're late.
So late.
You can't do that. This will be a theme of this show. Elite quarterbacks are not late in that situation.
Oh, no doubt. And so Mike Jones says Tannehill shouldn't have thrown it. No excuses, all on Tannehill. Again, I'm telling you where the blame needs to be placed on all of these interceptions. And what did I say before I started this one, Mike? And maybe you jumped in mid breakdown. Interception number 1 was on Ryan Tannehill for being late. If he's not late, then it's a completion for a first down, even with the bad play concept. But it's also on Todd Downing for a bad play concept for not having anybody on the backside to hold the safety. Because Ryan Tannehill can't look off the safety to nobody, right? The safety needs to have something happening on the backside of the play to hold him for just a half a count, and maybe even with a late throw. So it's on both, but 1 on Tannehill, 2 on Todd Downing. Now we're going to go to the second interception from Ryan Tannehill, the one that really hurt right after the 45-yard run by Deontay Foreman, set up 1st and goal on the 9-yard line. And this one is a video that I got from No Flags Film on Twitter showing that this was an RPO, a run pass option for Tannehill to either hand to Foreman or throw the bubble to Chester Rogers. And here's the video. So as you see, the blocking concept shows why it's the RPO. And what I found interesting, and No Flags Film mentioned this on Twitter with the video, is that normally Mike Hilton, who is the blitzing nickel, normally comes at the quarterback, right? But he widens out because Mike Hilton, who made the play, knew exactly where Ryan Tannehill was going to go. I'll play it again. Instead of going to the quarterback on a nickel blitz, which you normally do, he widens out and makes the play because he read it. So Tannehill knew the blitz was coming, but Mike Hilton made an incredible play. So really, this is on, I'm going to get to it in a second. This is first and foremost, an incredible play by Mike Hilton to acknowledge that, but it's also on Todd Downing first and foremost, because let's see if this looks familiar. The same damn play earlier in the game. Just the same formation, the same motion, the same everything. The same damn play, and look at what Mike Hilton almost did the first time. I'll play it again. Mike Hilton, same blitz. He went to Tannehill first and Tannehill got the throw to Rodgers. They ran the same damn play out of the same damn formation again, and Mike Hilton, who is a good player, picked it off. Todd Downing, what the hell are you doing? You cannot do that when you have smart defenders like Mike Hilton. Interception number 2, 1, run the damn football. 2, don't do that's coaching. That is coaching malpractice, Zach.
You have come to this show fully prepared with your guns ablazing, because I don't disagree with a single word you just said. I mean, that's straight facts. It is the coach's responsibility to not put his players in bad situations. Mike Hilton, who's to blame? Mike Hilton is to blame because of the play they made. I mean, it was incredible. And sometimes, as we say, really good players in playoff games step up and make superb plays. Travis Kelce last night, Patrick Mahomes, right? All of those type guys.
That is Mike Hilton out coaching Todd Downing.
Yeah, and look, I hate that play call. I mean, I think everybody hates that play call. Who are you trying to get the ball to?
Chester Rogers?
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, because the first time it gained 3 whopping yards.
Wouldn't you try to get the ball to A.J. Brown? Wouldn't you try to get the ball to Julio Jones?
I mean, you would think so. Or just hand the ball
Or
off.
Foreman. I mean, shit.
That's the problem.
Foreman was having a hell of a game.
That's the problem. You just had on, and I said this in the post-game show several times. Right before that second interception, 4 carries for 66 yards. Derrick Henry ran for 9 yards, ran for 4 yards, ran for 9 yards, and then boom, Foreman busts it for 45 yards to set up first and goal at the 9. And you run the play for the second time out of the same exact look, same exact motion, where it almost was bad the first time, and then it was disaster the second time. All right, are you ready for interception number 3?
Give it to me.
Todd Downing gets a break on this one. Todd Downing is not involved in this breakdown. This is solely on Ryan Tannehill. It is 3rd and 5. I so artistically drew a white line over the first down yard to gain line, and I circled the 3 better decisions that Ryan Tannehill had on this play. Instead, he throws to Nick Westbrook-Akine up at the top of the numbers on the 45-yard line with the Bengals player draped all over him in between 2 other defenders and with a safety over the top. So when he had Ferkser right there, who had an opportunity for a catch and run to get to the sticks, or Derrick Henry at the top of your screen out of the backfield on a flare route. Then A.J. Brown is right there covered up on the Titans logo at midfield. And so the throw to Chester Rogers on the backside is also wide the hell open. But Ryan Tannehill missed 3 other options. Now, here's my expectation. I expect that Chester Rogers is not actually an option on this play. Yeah. I expect him to be a kind of a dead route on the backside because you're trying to read the left side of the field. So really, it's Ferkser or the flare route at the top of the screen to the sideline, but Ryan Tannehill missed on those 2. That one is squarely on Ryan Tannehill.
It's so infuriating. That is infuriating. That play of who you're trying to target, when you're trying to target, how you're trying to target NWI when he's covered. He's not going to make that play. Khalif Raymond didn't make that play last year.
Yep.
NWI ain't going to make that play this year. Now, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, they have the build and physique to possibly make that play or get an incomplete pass. But NWI doesn't. This is a bad read by Tannehill, as you displayed. And, in big moments, you can't have freak out modes. And, when pressure is applied, the true player comes out.
And a couple comments. Malachi says, only needed 5 yards. Why are you running 20-yard routes? Well, you needed the 5 for the first down, but you were also trying to get yourself in field goal range with 26 seconds left to make a game-winning kick.
But you needed the 5 yards.
You need the 5 yards, and so you run them. In order to open up underneath, you got to have somebody go deep, right? Like, you can't all run at 5 yards. It's going to be congested there. And I did see another comment that I wanted to get to from, where'd it go? From Dave Collins, whose profile picture makes it look like he's a football coach. So I don't know if that's Dave or not in the profile picture, but he said you flooded the short side of the field. And so you did flood the short side of the field, but I also wonder if the reason for that is because you wanted to be able to use the sideline to get out of bounds after a potential catch. But again, that one's on Tannehill for bad decisions and making the wrong throw and the wrong read, because he should have checked off of NWI and then gone down to Ferkser to at least give Ferkser an opportunity to catch and dive forward for a first down to go spike it and live for another day.
Oh, man, that is a tough scene right there. 3 tough scenes. And ultimately, we all knew this. We talked about it in our pregame show. We talked about it for 2 weeks prior to that game. If you turn the football over in playoff games, you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose.
No doubt.
The Rams should have lost because of all of their turnovers. It's how life works in the playoffs. And the Titans had proven that multiple times in the regular season. And unfortunately, they proved it in the most crucial game of the season.
Yeah, and so, we've got a lot of people saying, fire Todd Downing, Todd Downing's trash, and all this stuff. Like, I do think, I do think Todd Downing needs to go. And look, we've got a long time to talk about this, and we're not going to have every conversation at the same time today. But Nick says you got to go quarterback shopping. People will have a bunch of different opinions on Todd Downing and on Ryan Tannehill. The fact of the matter is, both of them cannot be back. And one of them can be if the other is gone. And I have my opinion on which is the easier to replace.
Wrong. You're not going to bring in you're not going to bring in a fancy quarterback and have Todd Downing.
No, I mean,
that's a wrong statement. I know what you're trying to say, but
because I was saying you can fire Todd Downing and keep Tannehill. That was where I was saying. But
yeah, but you didn't say that. You can't keep one of them if the other one goes.
Okay.
You see, right?
Yeah, I was saying it like I was kind of hinting at that without saying it, but both cannot return. And I do know that for a fact.
There you go. There you go.
But now it's up to Mike Vrabel, who did not fire his defensive coordinator last year after, I guess he didn't have a defensive coordinator last year, but he elevated Shane Bowen, but this is a completely different situation. So let's not mistake this. This is a completely different situation with Todd Downing this year than Shane Bowen last year. And Shane Bowen earned every dollar he got from that DC raise and needs to earn another raise for what he did with that defense this year.
All right, Austin, on Twitter this morning, I did something I usually and have never done, and that is create a thread. It was a Titans thread of all of my opinions based on Ryan Tannehill and Super Bowls. I did research. I talked about a lot of things. I'm going to kind of go over that. We're going to ask a question to the chat, see what they think about Ryan Tannehill, because I personally believe that he is the issue. Todd Downing is absolutely an issue, but I believe Ryan Tannehill is the issue if the Titans want to do what Amy Adams Strunk and the rest of the fan base wants them to do. So I believe we need to get into that.
Let's do it. First, tell us all about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yes, Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you need to go to change your health plan. I'm in the process of that right now. Over 200 locations, better coverage, better rates, better service for a better you. And that is true, because if you have health insurance or health plan right now, maybe it's not fitting the bill. Maybe it's a very high deductible. Maybe you need to, and this is a lot of people got here. You've had it for so long and you haven't really taken a chance to diagnose what it represents and what your coverage is. This is where you need to go. FBHP.com/A to Z. That's FBHP.com/A to Z. And it will take you directly to a health assessment. I took mine last week. It literally took less than 30 minutes. And I am receiving my quote this week. So it is simple. And the projections, I don't want to say 100% because I haven't got my full quote back yet. The projections are I will save money. I will have a lower deductible. I will have insurance towards eye, vision, and also teeth cleanings. This is something I don't get right now. So it is trending to be so much better than my previous health plan. Visit FBHP.com/A to Z today.
And don't forget, download the BetMGM app. You can get that app in your app store, Apple, Android, whatever it might be. Use the promo code ATOZ Sports, and you get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first deposit and your first bet. Again, download the BetMGM app. Use the code ATOZ Sports for risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first deposit and your first bet. So, Zach, let's go ahead and get to your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill. You went on a TED Talk on Twitter this morning. So how are you feeling right now?
I feel, how do I describe this? I am completely all in on this thought, and I will not relinquish. The Tennessee Titans do not have an elite quarterback. Therefore, they will not win a Super Bowl. And I kind of diagnosed the problem. I don't care. You can follow me or not follow me, but it's at Bada_Bingham on Twitter. I basically had like a almost close to a 10 thread tweet. And basically what I broke down is the Titans situation is I like to put it simply complicated, because I think it's simple if you actually just look at it, but it's very complicated to fix it, right? That's on the other side. And we will get to that, because I think it's hilarious how everybody's like, oh, Dave, you don't just blur out problems. You find some solutions. You can't do this. There's no Twitter police. You can do whatever the F you want, okay? So here's my problem, and I do have a solution, but the situation is this. 80% of the roster is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Defense, pass rush, offensive line, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, who will be on this team next year, Derrick Henry, who's the best running back in the league, and Mike Vrabel has proven that he's a damn good head coach. Talking about coach of the year this year, right? So that is the 80% of your team that is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Not just good, but good enough to win a Super Bowl. The issue is 20% is not. And the 20% is quarterback, offensive coordinator, tight end group, and cornerback depth behind, Jackrabbit is still a liability. He still can't
Jackrabbit's
intercept the
gone.
ball.
Jackrabbit's done. He played his last game as a Titan.
Yeah, so thank the good Lord above. But those are their issues. Here is the real issue. Ryan Tannehill is 15% of that 20%. Austin, you hear me say this a lot in business and what I've learned in this working world and in life. The majority of people and employees that I have been around, and just people in life, they only give you 80%. They never give you 100. They may say they give you 100%, but they don't. They always leave out that 20%. And most of the time, that 20% is the most important percentage. That's where the quarterback is. Ryan Tannehill was the right decision to get away from Marcus Mariota. We got that. But it only got you to a sub-level. We've seen that the last 3 years. Ryan Tannehill has had 3 chances in 3 really good situations. One, he was 1 game away from an AFC championship game. The other one, he was a division winner, had a home game and a stellar offense and a great offensive coordinator that just got a new head coaching job. And then what happened on Saturday? He had all of the pieces he needed. Number 1 seed, home field advantage, outstanding group outside. They had Derrick Henry and Foreman who had emerged, a good offensive line, and a stellar defense. And he still couldn't get the job done. He played bad. Quarterbacks play bad, but this trend, he hasn't. We talked about some get a pass. Like Aaron Rodgers gets a pass when he plays a bad game. Not talking about the greatest of all time. He still's got to win Super Bowls to prove that, and he ain't doing that in Green Bay, it doesn't look like. Ryan Tannehill doesn't deserve another opportunity. The Titans don't need to give him another opportunity to fall short. And here it is. There are essentially 3 anomalies in the modern era of football. Winning. And this is what I am saying. Winning. Stop trying to get to the Super Bowl. Try to win the Super Bowl. And that is the most important part. I'm about to, the 3 anomalies, as we all know. Flacco, who played out of his skull, like 22 touchdowns in a very short amount of time towards the end of the season, and with a really good defense. They beat the 49ers. You obviously, you had Foles backup. That was a really good team, 4th-ranked defense in the league. And then you had old Peyton Manning, who had the number 1 defense in the league, and that Broncos defense was one of the best of all time. Besides that, they're all elite quarterbacks. And
Flacco was on fire during that stretch.
Fire, like straight fire. Die line, straight fire. So here are the losing quarterbacks that are not elite, right? So even if Ryan Tannehill gets to a Super Bowl, I still think he's closer to Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, Colin Kaepernick, Rex Grossman, Matt Hasselbeck, Jake Delhomme. Ryan Tannehill is closer to that than he is to Brady, Mahomes, Manning, Wilson, Breeze, Rodgers, or Roethlisberger. The Titans are not going to win a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill. And freezing cold takes me. Go for it. But I stand by that. They will not win a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill. They can't do it. So, and he proved that. I mean, he doubled down on that this past Saturday. It's not going to get any easier. You have the number 1 seed. The Chiefs, who are the best team in the AFC, we all know that, would have to come to your house to get to the Super Bowl. That's the best case scenario. You didn't have to play them in the divisional round like the Bills. Your ass would have played them in the championship, the AFC championship game, and you couldn't even get past the Bengals. That's Ryan Tannehill. And you talked about that earlier in the show, Austin. This is where I'm at. This offseason, you're not getting Deshaun Watson. He's within the division, and he's got trouble surrounding him, right? But there are two elite quarterbacks that are on the market in an era of offseason in the NFL where big quarterbacks move. It's like getting closer. It's getting closer to the NBA. You're exactly right. You have got to give up 3 first-round draft picks for either Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. You have to. You must. I think Seattle may be more willing to take Tannehill than Green Bay, but you have got to give a king's ransom. And I'll spin it back on John Robinson. John Robinson has done an unbelievable job with this roster and this franchise to turn it around. You've gone from the bottom to here, then you traded for Tannehill, you got to here. But the only way you're going to get to the top of the mountain is to do something drastic. And the only way that you're going to get Rodgers or Russell Wilson is for a king's ransom. It's what the Rams, who are in the NFC Championship, did for Matthew Stafford. So that is what I'm saying, and I'm sticking to it. And it's nothing against Ryan Tannehill. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a leader. I think he's been great for this franchise. But he ain't it, babe. He ain't it.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna have to take a lot to pull that off, because you remember what the price was for Matt Stafford to LA is that Jared Goff and his contract goes to Detroit with 2 first-round draft picks and a 3rd-round draft pick. And we're talking about Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, who are regarded as higher than Matt Stafford, no doubt, because they already have rings. Matt Stafford just got his first playoff win a week ago today, and now he's got 2, right? So it's going to take at minimum 3 first-round draft picks, right? And you already gave up your 2nd-round draft pick this year for Julio Jones. So in the Titans at the 26th 26th overall pick in the draft this upcoming season. And so, I mean, you haven't really done much with your late 20s draft picks in the first place. So,
you've had some big whiffs in the first round, like Rashaan Evans and Isaiah Wilson,
which you're gonna have to still make up for.
No, yes. I mean, we know those aren't going away. And look, I'm honest on this show. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And Dom is exactly right. I said the exact opposite because I thought Ryan Tannehill was going to play great this postseason. I thought the Titans were going to go to the Super Bowl, but Ryan Tannehill proved to me on Saturday that he cannot do it. He can't string together enough games, Austin. That's the problem. Elite quarterbacks can string together 3 games to win. Ryan Tannehill cannot. Against superior or same-like opponents, Ryan Tannehill will fail one of those 3 times. And that's not what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You're trying to win. If you have the number 1 seed, you got to win 3 games in a row. If you don't, you got to win 4. Ryan Tannehill, this may be the last time that the Titans for a long time have the number 1 seed. So now you got to win 4. I sure as hell do not believe that Ryan Tannehill can play stellar for 4 straight games against opponents like Mahomes, like Josh Allen. Joe Burrow just arrived on the scene. And then you got other, Justin Herbert's going to be in the playoffs next year. I would bet MGM. What's the projection on that?
Yeah, coming soon. But I do think here's the positive in this. The Colts still have Carson Wentz, and they gave him a 1st-round draft pick for him. And the Jags and the Texans both suck ass. And so, you still have
but that can turn around very quickly. I'm not saying it like we saw that with the Bengals.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. But again, the Bengals were drafting well leading up to Joe Burrow too. The Bengals had some talent on offense and defense. Joe Burrow changed it all. And, I don't know what the Texans are going to do. And the Trevor Lawrence didn't exactly look great as a rookie. And the Jags have so many issues on their roster as a whole. Now, we brought up the NFL in the offseason is looking a lot more like the NBA these days. But here's the problem is that, who's never in those big blockbuster NBA trades? markets like the Grizzlies. And it's kind of like, do the superstars that we're talking about of Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, do they want to be traded? Hold on. Do they want to be traded to Nashville, Tennessee? And again, that's not a shot at Nashville, Tennessee. We were both born and raised in Nashville. Love the city. You guys watching the show, absolutely love the city. But we also understand that there is a narrative and perception about this market nationally that is not as attractive to superstars. And so Russell Wilson, there were talks the last couple of weeks that he wants to go to Washington to play for the Red Hawks Generals because he wants to go.
I think they're going to be the Commanders. That's not official,
I was just saying two of the names.
The Red Hawk Generals. The Red Hawk Generals, I kind of like them.
but playing for Washington because he wants to go into politics. There's a lot of different things outside.
I don't think he wants to go into country music.
No, right. And you're not coming to Nashville to go into politics.
But so Austin, you said all that. Aaron Rodgers at the end of
Aaron Rodgers' family lives here, so you know he's not coming here.
But towards the end, that's hilarious. That is the funniest thing you said on this show. And very true. But Aaron Rodgers said it looks like the Green Bay Packers are starting to rebuild because of their contracts and their situation. I don't want to go to a rebuild. The Titans are not that. And Julio Jones just came here, right? Julio Jones is a name. Now, he didn't work out real great this year. You hope maybe better for next year. But at least, Austin, Bud Dupree was a top 5 free agent this past offseason. Yeah. If you had the list of, and everybody does it, right? When you go into free agency, it is all position, all player. Bud Dupree was either 4 or 5 on all of those lists. The Tennessee Titans got him. And that's why you can win. This is a trade. This is a trade. You can win with draft capital that John Robinson, I think, is going to have to bite the bullet if he wants these QBs. And you're going to have to sack up and give up 3 first-round picks and try to trade away some of that Tannehill contract.
I agree. But we all know that those 2 quarterbacks we're talking about, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they sign off on any trade.
They also would like to play with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's the best running back in the league.
I do think Mike Vrabel would be attractive to these 2 guys too.
Right? So we're starting to stack up qualities. There are pros and cons, but we're starting to stack up pros. And Austin, the Titans have to do this. 2 things. Here are the 2 reasons why they have to do this. First of all, if they don't, we will be back here mid-January 2023, talking about the same thing. They will be, and I said it on the post-game show, you cannot continuously do the same thing and expect a different result. That is called insanity. You have an insane Titans franchise. And Austin, the other thing is, you can't piss away any more years when you have Derrick Henry in his prime.
And this defense is ready to go. And you got to make a decision about Harold Landry.
And that's what I said. That's what I said in the TED Talk tweet.
Yeah.
I said, one more year, Byard's getting older. Bud Dupree's getting older. Jeffrey Simmons is getting older. Yeah. Derrick Henry's getting older. Those are your core guys.
Yeah, and you wasted like we're not gonna have the Super Bowl window. How many more years does it have open? Conversation today,
but we will.
But we will. Oh, we will. I don't know if it's this week. I don't know if it's next week, but we will absolutely have that. Common sense says I still don't understand going for 2 points. I absolutely think, and I said in the post-game show that I thought that was way too early to chase points. I said it at the time of the decision, at the halftime show, and the post-game show. Also, because I went back and looked at comments, Zach, on our YouTube post-game show that blew up Sunday and had a lot of other comments. A lot of people were saying that Mike Vrabel cost the Titans 4 points because he didn't kick the extra point and he should have kicked the 52-yard field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 1. I think the correct decision is going for it on 4th and 1 at the 35-yard line. I didn't see many people disagreeing with the decision to go for it at that moment.
You got to have better plays on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1.
Yeah.
3rd and inches, really.
Yes, I didn't hate the 3rd and 1 zone read because they've had a lot of success with that in short yardage situations over the last couple of years with Henry and Tannehill. It was the 4th down play that I disliked so much because that's where you quarterback sneak it. 4th and inches, quarterback sneak it and move forward. Screw it. Just don't try to prove that Derrick Henry's big and bad and your O-line can move people. Just quarterback sneak it and get a first down. It's not that hard. Quarterback sneaks are the most underutilized play in the sport.
Well, ever since Mahomes dislocated his knee, I think everybody in Denver a couple of years ago, if you remember that.
I do remember that.
Everybody's eyes kind of got open of, ooh, because that doesn't happen that often. But when it happens to, the best quarterback in the league, but when it happens to the best quarterback in the league, crazy that he came back and played on that.
Yeah, and then he won a Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
That same year he won the Super Bowl. It just happened early enough in the season.
So maybe that tells you two quarterbacks sneak it, and it's okay if you
just sneak it. Like, God. And so NB says, guys, you're ignoring that on the fourth down, the O-line got blown off the ball. Are they forgiven? No, they got blown the F off.
The left side. I mean, Lewan and Saffold were having a tea party on the ground.
And DJ Reader deserves a lot of credit for how he played Saturday night, who's the Bengals nose tackle. That dude was a beast. That dude used to play for the Texans, and Derrick Henry used to run for 1,000 yards against DJ Reader and the Texans, but not Saturday night. That guy was all over the place.
All right, so I said my piece on what I think about Ryan Tannehill. Let's ask the question in the chat. We got a big audience. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that red button, that subscribe button. It's very, very easy. And also on Facebook, make sure you like our page. Do you believe Ryan Tannehill can take the Titans where they need to go? It's a very simple question. It's yes or no. Do you believe that Ryan Tannehill can take the Tennessee Titans where they need to go? And that where they need to go could be in anybody's opinion. Maybe it's to a Super Bowl. Maybe it's to an AFC championship hosting that because that's never happened. But it should be win a Super Bowl. That's in the beholder. Do you think Ryan Tannehill can take the Titans where they need to go?
Ooh, I'm going to read the comments. But first, Zach, tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai because they can drive you where you need to go.
Yes, they can drive you, and you can drive there for a test drive right there at Wilson County Hyundai. They've got your perfect make and model, whether it's the Sonata, the Elantra, they've got the Santa Fe, full-size SUV. That Palisade is nice. Third row seating, all the bells and whistles. You got sport mode, snow mode, and fuel effective. I mean, that is huge. When you buy a car, it's money out your pocket, but you actually save money in the long run if you have a fuel efficient vehicle. Visit wilsoncountyhyundai.com and check out their inventory today.
Download the BetMGM app, guys. It's real simple. Download the app, use our code ATOZ Sports. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 after your first deposit with your first bet. It's a great opportunity to do that. So jumpstart your bankroll. The big game's coming up, so get ready for it. Download that BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. You make your first deposit, and you unlock that risk-free bet up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued on non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire in 7 days. And for problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. And oh my gosh, are the comments on fire. Can Ryan Tannehill get the Titans to where they need to go? No, hell no. No, nope, in all caps. No, absolutely not. Yes, from Dadson. Yes, from John Laster on YouTube. No, hell no, all caps. No. Just more no's. I mean, I've seen nope, hell no. Carl with a yes there on Facebook. Hell no, hell no, hell no. Man, so many hell no's. Hell no, I think was the preferred comment from people. So Andre, he struggles when things don't go as planned. No. Super Bowl? No. Oh, man. So, Zach, you've already...
Golf clap for the chat.
Yeah, I mean...
Golf clap is right.
Can the Titans win a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill? No. The answer is no. They can't. But here's the
golf
crazy
clap
thing.
to you, Austin.
But here's the crazy. It's like we have to think about what we're asking. How many active starting quarterbacks in the NFL? How many teams can answer this question with a yes?
Well, let's go
Tampa,
through the quarterbacks.
Tampa, Kansas City. I think the Bills can say yes with Josh Allen. I think Who else? The Packers can probably say yes with Aaron Rodgers. I think the Seahawks
I
can
think
say
this is
yes.
going to be crazy, and I know we're going to get a lot of heat. I think Dak has the ability to.
Not yet, man.
I think the Cowboys would probably hold him back.
Zach, if Dak Prescott can win a Super Bowl, he hands the football to the ref, not his center, after that quarterback draw. He botched that end of game situation, was a part of it. So no.
So how are we up to? We don't have to put them on the list.
5.
I'm not gonna die on that hill.
I said 5. Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, Josh Allen, and I put in Russell Wilson because those guys have minus Allen. So is that it? I mean, it's too early for Justin Herbert. I think it's too early for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times. Now
that wasn't his fault. That was his offensive line.
No, I know, but there were a couple of them that were his fault. The one where he lost 18 yards, yeah, that was his fault. But I mean, the Rams think so with Stafford, so now we're at 6. The Niners don't think Garoppolo can because they drafted Trey Lance 4th overall.
Yeah, they shouldn't be in that.
Where are we at 6? Are we at 6?
Well, you have 6 plus you've got some emergings, right? Like
Lamar Jackson's the no for me, dog. Baker Mayfield, no. Who are the other playoff teams? I mean, Jalen Hurts is still on the mend in Philly. They don't think so. Who are the other playoff teams? Big Ben's out. I mean, so we're answering the question no for Ryan Tannehill, but also have to understand that we have listed 6 quarterbacks out of 32 who can say definitively yes.
Definitively, yes. The arguable ones are
Kyler Murray.
You've got Dak and the young guys, right?
No,
you've got Dak, Lamar, and the young guys. Those are the questionable ones.
I'm saying Carr's questionable. No. Herbert couldn't beat the freaking Raiders to make the playoffs. I mean, so it's you can't.
Herbert is outstanding. Herbert's going to be incredible.
But right now, which is we're having the question right now about Tannehill. Right now, there are 6 of 32 that can definitively say yes, our quarterback.
But granted, all of those teams aren't ready. The ones that you're in question are not ready to win a Super Bowl. The Titans team is ready to win a Super Bowl. That's the unique part about this conversation. You're talking about the Bengals are not ready to win a Super Bowl. But hell, if Joe Burrow was on the Titans team, and I hate the ifs, that's a terrible hypothetical. But if you want to talk about that, that's why we're talking about the Titans are in that 7, 8, 9, 10 spot. You're not going to win a Super Bowl until you get to that 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 spot. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's just how the NFL, it's how it works. Well, you don't get anything. You get 0 prizes or awards for being the 7th best team.
I agree. I'm not saying you do.
So but figure out a way to get in the top 6.
Sure, absolutely. I don't disagree. But again, when we're having the conversation about Tannehill, I think it's fair to bring up the context of the entire league of how few teams can say this. And people are saying Deshaun Watson. Let's not forget, one, I want to see how Deshaun Watson can play after a full year of not playing. Usually, that takes a hit on an athlete. Sitting out an entire year takes a hit on an athlete. Ask Le'Veon Bell. It's different situations, but I still think it's different. There's a lot of things, timing, field, juice lost there. But look at where was I going with this? With Deshaun Watson, they were a division winner 2 years ago. They were up 24-0 on the Chiefs in the divisional round of the playoffs, and they got boat raced. The Texans were a good team a couple years ago in that.
They weren't as good as the Titans team right now. That's for damn sure.
I mean, they were a good team. They won the division.
That's not the point. That's not what I said. They were not as good as the Titans team is right now. That's the focus of this.
I mean, yes,
I'm not just screaming, get another quarterback guy. I'm not that hot take piece of trash. I'm not that person. I'm saying right now, the Super Bowl window for the Tennessee Titans is right now, immediately. And if you don't do anything, it will go away. And the only way to get a Super Bowl before it goes away is to go out and get an elite quarterback. Yes. And that's going to take 3 first-round draft picks.
And the crazy thing is that we listed 6. that I feel are definitive yeses that can win a Super Bowl. The good thing, 2 of them are available. So 2 of the 6 are available. And if you want to throw in Deshaun Watson, he's available to some. I don't think he's available for the Titans.
So let's now list this. You want to play problem solver. People on
Yeah.
Twitter drive me effing crazy. So you can't do here's out of the teams that are ready to win a Super Bowl that do not have an adequate quarterback, who are those? You have the Ravens, you've got the Colts probably, you've got the Titans, you've got the Raiders possibly. So there's 4.
The Dolphins think they are.
Okay, there's 5. We're just naming teams. So 5. We're at 5 right now.
The Broncos, I also think, are like the Dolphins in a way.
Yeah, I think they're below the Titans, Ravens, and Colts.
Saints.
The Saints are there. So now you've got some competition. You got about 6, 7, 8 teams. Steelers, they're in this.
The thing with the Steelers is interesting. Didn't you tell me last week that the GM's retiring after the draft, and he's not going to draft a quarterback?
That's a report that he doesn't want to put the Steelers in a bad situation right before he leaves.
So if you don't want to put the Steelers in a bad situation before you leave. Don't leave after you draft for the next GM. Leave now. It's that's my opinion on that. So look, I mean, and the 2 available quarterbacks, and Wilson and Rodgers, they're in the NFC, and so
they're not going, and they both have to be traded. So let's eliminate. The problem is there's still a good handful of AFC teams that are in this boat, right? We just named them.
Yes,
Titans, Ravens, Colts, Steelers,
but the
Dolphins.
Ravens aren't going to move on from Lamar. So you can remove them.
Okay, so there's 4.
The Colts just gave away a first-round draft pick from Carson Wentz. I don't think they're going to go back-to-back quarterback trades for first-round draft picks.
Austin, I think that the Rams this past season, because they're in the NFC Championship game and what they did with Stafford, I think it changed the course of the NFL for the next several years.
I don't disagree, but I just don't think the Colts can afford to do that. I just think that puts them in a really tough.
Steelers, Titans,
Broncos, Dolphins.
So if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're Russell Wilson, oh man, this is a whole nother topic. This is a really good topic. Where are the Titans on this list? Because out of those teams, I think the Titans are the best out of those teams.
Well, they absolutely are, because they're the 1 seed.
So they have to have
they're the best out of all the teams, NFC included.
Miami is, I mean, you don't want to play in cold weather, but it doesn't matter, right? Aaron Rodgers likes playing in cold weather.
Yeah, they've both been up there in the north.
Right, so they don't know.
Weather. They've had weather a part of their careers the entire time. They don't care. Russell Wilson was at North Carolina State, and he says, you know what? I'm going to transfer to Wisconsin. He doesn't care about the weather. And then he gets drafted by the Seahawks.
So you care about the team. If those are your 4 AFC teams, that's a conversation we're going to have throughout the course of the offseason, because I think that the Titans have to do something.
Again, I don't disagree with you that the Titans probably should do something at quarterback this offseason. I just don't think they're going to. I will believe it.
The dead cap is very scary.
Yep. I will believe it when it happens, but I just don't expect it to happen.
The only
just
way
like
you
I
get
didn't
that,
expect,
but it has an out. So here is the diagnosing this dead cap. I mean, God, $57.4 million is huge, but there's an out after this season. So there's an out for other teams as well if they take the contract.
Yeah.
So if somebody will eat that, deal with Tannehill for a year and then move on and have that bridge plus 3 first-round picks, I think a GM will be willing to do that.
It's still a mouthful, because even after the contract out, like you're saying, it's still $18.8 million in dead cap. Now the Titans,
the
Titans will still be responsible for a portion of the dead cap, because if you remember, the Jarrell Casey trade kind of taught us that. But It's not a good situation if you're the Titans. You got to figure something out, and it's not, as you said on your tweet thread, it's simply complicated. Simply complicated. All right. So, do we want to have the conversation about the other games yesterday?
Yeah, I think we should quickly.
Okay.
I mean, I can state mine because of kind of the rest of the week, me being out of town, but yeah, I'd be curious to see what the chat real quick is, what their favorite game of the weekend was.
All right, let's just do it. What was your favorite game of the weekend outside of the Titans game, obviously? What was your favorite game of the weekend? Because there were some crazy results that happened across the NFL with 3 game-winning field goals as time was expiring, and then overtime in an absolute shootout with 25 points scored in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. So, I mean, everybody's just saying Buffalo and Kansas City, Buffalo and Kansas City. I don't even know how you can say a different game. I mean, 13-10 in the snow up in Green Bay. I wasn't paying attention to that one much because I was out with some friends, but I did lose money on that because I had the Packers money line in a 1-game parlay that everything else hit. So that sucked. But that game wasn't like great until it was great at the end. But I do think Bills Chiefs was number 1. Zach, are you frozen? Yeah, Zach's frozen. I thought he was frozen. So everybody's saying Bills Chiefs, Bills Chiefs, Bills Chiefs. As Zach is frozen. Are you back now?
I think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back now. You were frozen there for a bit. You're being very still. I know that wasn't you. So I don't know if you can hear me or not, but
yeah, I think it's the internet in this place.
Yeah, I'm sure. But man, Bills Chiefs was just absolutely crazy. And coaching decisions plagued the weekend for the losing teams, right? Because you just don't kick a touchback, Buffalo.
I don't understand that. That game
maybe
was... cover Travis Kelce. No, I mean, more importantly, cover Travis Kelce on a seam route. Tony Romo literally told us that he does so well. What was going to happen for them to get into field goal range at the end of the game?
Well, and what happened? Did? You know what they did? It's crazy that Kansas City didn't use a single timeout until 13 seconds left. But what they did is on that first play, they hit Tyreek Hill for that quick bang up the field, and then on the second play where Kelce caught it, everybody they had a linebacker at the line of scrimmage to stop a quick pass to Hill, and then they just forgot about Travis Kelce in the slot. And so, but again, if
forgetting about Travis Kelce is like forgetting about Cooper Kupp.
But again, if you force a kickoff return, you eliminate one of those 3 plays. If you force a kickoff return, you eliminate either the Tyreek Hill play, really you eliminate the Kelce play. So you have to have a Hail Mary at the end. That's where the Bills lost. There were 13 seconds left and they had 3 timeouts. You got to make them return that kickoff. You've got to make them do it, because even if they return it to the 35-yard line, how many seconds does that take off?
Well, they didn't need them. They had 13 seconds to spare. Like,
what do you mean they didn't need them?
They had timeouts. Like, I don't know I don't know
Zach,
what.
Even if they forced a kick return, then there are at least 4 or 5 seconds that run off the clock on the return. And so now you have 9 seconds in 3 timeouts, and you can't get 3 plays to set up a field goal. That's the point.
So Kyle brings up a point about the overtime rules. Are you okay with one team getting an opportunity? We've seen that a lot, right? I mean, you get the ball, you're going to score. Tom Brady did it in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes did it yesterday. I think that it should change and they should adapt it. It will definitely draw out the game, but it should only be changed in playoff games, right? You keep the rules in the regular season, but you give both teams a chance in the playoffs.
I don't think you can.
The ratings are just going to go up, right? It's one game. That's where I'm at.
I don't think you can change the rules in overtime for just the playoffs.
Well, they did that a couple of years ago.
I know, but I think
so you can.
No, I think it needs to be changed overall.
Well, they're trying not to have a 3-hour, 5-hour game, right?
Oh, I know what they're trying to do and trying to not do.
So they shouldn't do that in the regular season, but in the playoffs, you should give the people what they want, and they want Josh Allen. Now, does that give the advantage to the team that gets the ball second to go for 2? You see what I'm saying? So Patrick Mahomes goes down and scores. They got to make a decision whether to go for 2 or kick an extra point. They kick an extra point. They're up 7. Josh Allen comes down, scores a touchdown. Now the Bills can continue the game by kicking an extra point, or they can make the crazy decision to go win the game. Is that that's the situation you're going to be put into, which I actually kind of love.
So our guy Zach Reagan brought this up on Twitter. I'm going to go find it because he had like a plan for the rules for overtime, especially in the playoffs. So let me see if I can scroll through his Twitter and find it. But
while you're looking for this is pretty good. This is actually the love of the show. Nick come with a great comment. NFL won't add on to games late, but they'll add an extra game in the season. They don't mind doing that.
I mean, because the extra game at the season is more money for everybody.
It could be more money with advertising dollars, right? If you have those rates go up at the end of the game.
So this is the first time I've heard something like this. Here is Zach Reagan's idea. NFL overtime rule suggestion. College style, except you start on the 50 and there's 45 seconds on the clock. You get 1 timeout and you go back and forth until one team outscores the other, matching possessions. I think the key here is 45 seconds on the clock, 1 timeout at the 50. You have to earn field goal range. We only have one timeout. I think you probably
need to start it on the 40 because these field goal kickers have a lag. Their legs are now like, they're ridiculous.
No, you don't want to earn. You don't want to get. I have a problem with.
No, I'm talking about 40 behind, not 44.
Oh, you're talking about the -4.
Yeah, make them go further because of the kicker.
Yeah, Bobby Dingman. Is that Bobby Dingman who changed his name to Robert on YouTube? Because that's dumb. I'm sorry. Chris says he likes it.
Well, Chris says, I think I like it. I mean, they're not going to do something that is closer to the college game, though.
Steven says 45 seconds is enough time, Austin. It's called sabotage. I think 45 seconds, 13 seconds was plenty of time. Now they have 3 timeouts. I think that's because it makes you make a decision. It makes you, are you going for a touchdown? And Drew says Austin smoking a blunt again. Drew, if you want to continue to comment about me doing drugs while doing the show, well, for one, I was reading somebody else's suggestion, Drew. So you stop smoking and understand the words that are coming out of people's mouths. God, Drew, I swear, Drew commented 25 times on the show the other day about, there he is, about me smoking a blunt. Go smoke a blunt yourself.
Well, now Drew's who watches the show all the time. He's just gonna keep doing it.
Good Lord.
I do. I mean, I'm not trying to get him to do more of them, but I do laugh at the comments because I see it, and it is always Drew. Austin's toking on something again.
What? Like, what is this guy doing, man? Drew is just obsessed with me smoking before the show.
That's funny.
Kyle says Drew is a simple man. All he thinks about is weed.
Right? Simple man, simple times. Here quickly. I've got a couple of things. I did see, and I'll give Barstool credit because this made me laugh out loud because I thought this was really funny. It was a picture and it said me telling my wife that 13 seconds is plenty of time. I thought that was a good Barstool tweet, right? I mean, so I give credit where credit is due. The other thing, my favorite game, it was unfortunate, but I respect the game. The Bucks-Rams game was unbelievable. You had this feeling and emotion that the Bucks were going to come back and win, and then all of a sudden they didn't, which I was heartbroken because of that. That was a tough. Yesterday sucked. It was not a great day, but it was a really good game. And so, if you're talking about football, that was a damn good game with a roller coaster of emotions. Didn't end the way that I wanted to, but a fantastic second half.
Yes. You ready for bad sales job?
I am.
All right, let's do bad sales job to wrap up this Monday show. But real quick, I'm going to tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever an injury happens to you or someone you love and your family, make sure that you know where to go to, you know who to trust. The dozen plus doctors at the Bone and Joint Institute specialize in any type of joint injury you might have. If you need surgery, they have a great surgery center there. If you need rehab, their state-of-the-art rehab facility is right there on their Franklin campus. Also have satellite campuses in Thompson Station, Nolensville, and in Brentwood, boneandjointtn.org.
Don't forget about BetMGM. Download the app today. You can see that right there in the middle of the screen. A to Z Sports. New users use that promo code. Get a $1,000 risk-free bet. That is outstanding. Let's get it.
All right, Zach, time for bad sales job on this Monday. I will let you bring it to me first.
All right, Austin, you are going to have to do something. This is kind of a rendition, and this may be the last time I'll be able to do this because of the conclusion of the season. You have to do a rendition of a somewhat of a bad sales job that I attempted to do, but slightly different. You need to sell us on why Todd Downing needs to be the head coach. Fire Mike Vrabel, promote Todd Downing. That's what you have to sell us. Fire Mike Vrabel right now and promote Todd Downing to head coach. And you can attend the press conference if you'd like. Let me get my time clock up. I'm up 1.
You're up 1.
Fire Mike Vrabel, hire Todd Downing, head coach of the Tennessee Titans. I am ready when you are.
Todd Downing hurt the Tennessee Titans football organization this season because of his play calling. If they elevate Todd Downing to head coach and they find somebody else to call the plays, problem is solved. Look, Mike Vrabel is just making simple in-game decisions as the head coach. Todd Downing can do that just as fine. You just get somebody else to call the plays, and Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans can win the Super Bowl.
I would have left Tannehill out of there, but that was good.
All right.
Ooh.
I was going to go a very similar direction. I was going to use your Ryan Tannehill take against you, Zach, and I'll just do it. I'll just make it even better. All right. So, Zach, you have to sell us on why Ryan Tannehill will not only win the Titans a Super Bowl next year, but why Ryan Tannehill will lead the Tennessee Titans to back-to-back Super Bowls in 2023 and 2024 for the rest of his contract. I'm ready when you are.
This is easy. You just told me what to do. Fire Todd Downing. Once they fire Todd Downing, all of a sudden Ryan Tannehill will become elite. Downing's the guy that's been holding them back for so long. You need a guy to come in and call the plays, and you hire him for a 2-year contract. You pay him the most amount of money as an offensive coordinator to make sure that he stays the next 2 years. The Titans are back-to-back Super Bowl champs. We're having parades in the streets of Nashville if Todd Downing leaves. Get his ass out. That's the solution.
All right. Who won? All you got to do is say Austin or Zach, Austin or Zach. Who won? I've got my marker of where the vote starts. So Austin or Zach, Zach or Austin, who do you think won this bad sales job performance this week? Lucas says it's a draw. You both said the same thing. Looks like Zach's
we
going to
didn't
get
say
this one.
really.
All right. So here come the comments. So now I'm going to start counting here too. All right. So, all right. I'm starting with G-Man. 1, Zach 2-0 after Orlando, Zach 3-0, Zach 4-0, 41, 51, 52, 62, 72, 82, 92, 10, 2, 11, 2, 11, 3, 12, 3, 13, 3, 13, 4, 13, 5, 13, 6, 13, 7, 14, 7, 15, 7, 16, 8, 17, 7, 18, 7. Orlando counted twice. 19 and 20. 22-9.
I'll take that dub. I need to get back on that board.
Man, it's the first to 20 votes. So I appreciate everybody who voted for me. I really do.
Yeah, no, you're doing a consolation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody that came out tonight.
I feel like I did a better job selling Todd Downing than Zach did selling Ryan Tannehill. But, that's part of it.
So I think I don't disagree with you, but you had a worse question to me. I had an easier answer because of your bad sales job. You see? But I agree. I think you did what you
I think we
needed to
both
do.
performed well. I thought I answered the question more directly, and you made it about not Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but you were too busy smoking and losing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. All right, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Buck Rising will be live tonight. A to Z Sports Primetime. We've got content galore at the website, A to Z Sports Nashville.com. So go check that out. And we will see you guys later on this week. Have a good one. Thanks.